and I'm about to be scorched. I don't love being bitten or stung by our planet's misunderstood creatures, but I do love teaching you how to avoid these worst-case scenarios. I'm Coyote Peterson, and I'm about to be scorched by fire ants. Here we go. Ah! Yeah! Ah! Yeah! Oh my gosh, that's so intense! Oh!
This episode is sponsored by Stingkill.
Imagine it's your wedding day. You picked the perfect venue. You posed for 1,000,000 pictures. And you built up the courage to walk down the aisle to say, I do. But what happens when an uninvited guest shows up to crash your big day? To the untrained eye, the ground in front of me looks like soft grass and sandy soil. But just beneath the surface, a world of terror is waiting to erupt. Do you know what love really means? Look out, volcanoes everywhere.
The red imported fire ant was accidentally introduced to the United States from South America in the early 1930s, and since this time has become a major agricultural and urban pest throughout the southeastern US. These insects have established a stronghold, so eradication is virtually impossible. And every year, thousands of people fall victim to their agonizing venomous stings. At a first glance, their mounds look completely benign. Yet beneath the surface is a catacomb of elaborate tunnels, bustling with workers, soldiers, the queen, and her brood of precious eggs. The moment an invader is detected, like a volcano, it erupts, and the merciless flow of angry ants will destroy anything in their path.
Now, the purpose of today's episode, aside from the sheer entertainment of me being stung by gazillions of fire ants, is to educate you about these invasive little insects and to show you what to do if you ever find yourself in this worst-case scenario. Now, it's no secret that I've been stung by fire ants in the past. In fact, I've been stung close to 300 times as I plunged my hands down into one of their mounds. Truth be told, it's one of the worst sting scenarios of my entire life. But realistically, you're not likely to be stung on your hands. You're much more likely to be stung on your feet. So today, I'm going to sacrifice mine in the name of science to show you what to do if you ever find yourself in this worst-case scenario. So if you're ready to party, let's dance with the fire ants. I'm Coyote Peterson, and I'm about to be scorched by fire ants. Here we go. 1, 2, oh boy, 3.
Now, before we enter the volcano and provoke an eruption of swarming ants, I want you to understand what makes these little invaders so impactful. Size doesn't always matter, and what these ants lack in scale, they make up for with sheer volume. Even the slightest disruption will provoke fire ants to attack a perceived intruder with a full barrage of soldiers. And if the mound is big enough, we are literally talking about thousands of ants. With their mandibles, they bite and lock on. From there, the sting party begins as they twist their abdomen into striking position and inflict sting after sting after sting. Fire ants inject a neurotoxic venom that immediately makes their victim feel as if they have stepped into a pool of boiling lava. Sounds like fun. Now let's see what that looks like in real life.
The mental preparation that it takes to induce a sting, let alone an onslaught of stings, is not an easy thing to describe. This isn't like taking a single bullet ant sting or an executioner wasp, which are both incredibly painful. This is getting stung over and over again by fire ants, one of the most formidable little biological landmines that exists, in my opinion, on the entire planet. So if you guys are ready, it's time to step into a mound of fire ants. Here we go. I'm Coyote Peterson, and I'm about to be scorched by fire ants. Here they come. Here they come. Here they come. Oh boy! I'm just gonna let myself get covered. The volcano is erupting. Oh man, they are really swarming at this point. Look at that, they're completely covering my ankles. I do not miss the feeling of fire ants. Okay, I gotta step out. I gotta step out of the mound, man, they got that one foot a lot worse than this foot. Oh my gosh, that is so intense. They might be small, but fire ants are incredibly mighty and they attack in mass. So right now what they're doing is biting out with the mandibles and inflicting that sting, and that neurotoxic venom is just destroying my feet and my ankles right now. Oh, this is the absolute worst case scenario you would not want to find yourself in. Imagine being in flip-flops, you brush through an entire mound of ants and your feet are completely covered. I can already see the stings beginning to welt up. All right, guys, I gotta dust them off. I gotta dust off. We good? We good? Okay, I'm gonna use this feather duster to gently get the ants off of me. Yes, I don't wanna try to crush any ants in this process, so I'm just gonna lightly dust them off. Come on, guys, get off of me. Off, 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 off. Off we go. Oh my goodness. Sweet feather duster relief. Oh my gosh. Oh, and there's a bunch of them in between my toes. You wanna talk about sensitive skin areas? In between the toes has gotta be the worst. Okay, ants are off. I'm out of scene. Now, I know you are probably all wondering to yourselves, Coyote, just how bad are you feeling at this moment? Both of my feet are in absolute agony. And the burning at this point has started to wear off and the itching is beginning to set in. I would guess that I took somewhere around 450 to 500 stings. That is more than I took last time when I plunged my hands into the mound of fire ants. My toes seem to have even changed slight color given the onslaught of stings that I took in between my toes, which is an incredibly sensitive area. The top